This is my 2019 Aprilia RSV4 RF Factory 1100, and today I'm going to do my first oil change on it. I have a screwdriver with hex bits, some pliers for the push-in fasteners. There's the new filter, the new plug ring, and the 4 quarts of oil. This was a kit that came from AF1 Racing, and it's what they, I think, sell from the factory. We've got everything we need. Now we just got to start the actual work. And the first thing we have to do is get these panels off to allow access to what we need. And there's going to be several that require a hex bit along here, and you'll see them. And the other ones will require the pries because they're the press-in types, and they're on the inside surface here. Also realized that I had one screw down there with a Torx head, so I needed the Torx bit with the ratchet. Okay, this part was a little bit tricky. See this bolt right there? That was blocked from the outside, so I had to take that press-in out of that hole, pressing into that point, and then remove all these parts off of those mating parts so that I can get to that bolt and take it loose to get this lower panel off. Now, I may have been able to take that front piece off instead. That may be an easier way to do it. I would just have to take the other side off too. Now we can clearly see everything. There's the filter and there's the plug. You always want to put your panels pretty side up so they don't get damaged. Just don't drop anything on them. And then it's a little OCD, but I always lay all my fasteners out in the position they came off the bike so that I know exactly which one went where, because sometimes they'll be different lengths. I'm going to turn the bike on and let it run for a little bit so that it warms up the engine oil and lets it all run out effectively and quickly. Now that the engine's heated up, I've got my hex wrench in place, and my pan barely fits under here, so that might be something you want to check in advance. You can see the oil's a little dirty. I mean, it's got some aggressive rides behind it. That's 3,000 miles since its initial oil change. But if you look at the plug, you don't really see a lot for, you know, metal or anything on the end, so it looks pretty good. The filter wrench wasn't quite big enough, but I put a sock on it. And it's working. Sometimes you got to make do with what you got. Always make sure to wipe everything off, all the residue out so you get good seals on everything. The plug's all wiped clean, and I'm going to replace the old crush washer with the new one. And the oil plug goes in at 30 Newton meters with the 10mm hex head. After wiping that surface clean and everything around it, got my new filter. I'm going to take a little bit of oil and just run it around the rubber gasket. Make sure I get a good seal there. I'm going to pour a little bit of oil just so I minimize the time that it's running with no oil in the engine. I'm going to take a little bit of simple green and just degrease everything around here, get all the old oil and stuff cleaned up. Now I put my sock back on the filter so I can get a good tight grip to it, and I'm going to do it hand tight only until it's solid. The plug in place and tight, filter in place and tight, clean, and now ready to put some new oil in it. Fortunately, this takes exactly 4 containers of oil, which makes it a little easier. Pull the plug, pop in the funnel, and now fill it with our 4 quarts, or liters, whatever they measured in. Yeah, it says quarts. Now that the bike's full of oil, we want to turn it back on and get it started just to make sure that there's no leaks or anything underneath there before we put the body panels back on. When you're putting the panels on, make sure you get that fitment in there correct first with that screw and then that press button. And then just get everything else kind of lined up right. Check underneath, make sure that your hoses are still coming out where they need. Stuff's lining up. I started that screw in the back to kind of get it held in place. And then just start working your way through it, get it all buttoned up. Everything is put back together and just needs a good bath now.